What's up guys, I'm randomfrankp, back with episode 158 of Room Tour Project, the series where we show off some of the best gaming setups, and that's exactly what this episode is going to be, the best of the best from 2018, going through all the episodes from the past year and picking my top 10 favorites, so it's going to be a crazy episode, definitely a bit longer. And we're going to kind of switch it up a bit. Obviously, I can't put everyone's gear and specs down below. There's just not enough room in the description. So what I'm going to do is I'll link the episode to which that setup was on. Then you can go through there and see all their detailed specs and the link and stuff like that. Just make it a bit easier. So guys, kick back. Hope you enjoy it. Let's start off the best of the best from 2018. First off is EPSY. This is from episode 117, which was last January. And funny enough, in that episode, I said right then and there, this is the best setup of the year, even though it was only January. Not saying I knew the future, but I knew the future. So while we roll the montage of this insane gaming setup, as you can see, it's just like straight out of Tron in the future, I'll start going over some of the specs. So he has 4 monitors here, all lined up perfectly. The bottom 3 monitors are from Acer. They're 37.5-inch curved monitors with a 29-inch LG ultrawide up top, and then above that is a 65-inch 4K TV from LG. For his peripherals, he has a Tesoro SC Spectrum keyboard in white with the Razer Mamba Tournament mouse on a glorious PC Gaming Race mousepad, and then for audio, the Sennheiser HD 558 headphones. And just all around the room are these crazy RGB panels embedded in the walls, his desk, behind it, in the ceiling, which is going to give it that crazy futuristic glow, which is also diffused, so it's nice and soft. Then checking out his PC, he has the Cooler Master C700P case and inside's an AMD Threadripper 1950X with the Cooler Master Master Liquid AIO, 128 gigs of G.Skill Trident Z RGB RAM on an Asus ROG Zenith Extreme motherboard with an Asus GTX 1080 Ti OC GPU in SLI, of course, making for a beastly PC that also looks really nice. And obviously there are tons of things in this setup that I didn't even mention because we would be here for days and hours and weeks, but you can take a look, you see it yourself, you see how crazy this is, which is undoubtedly the reason why I still think it's one of the best of the year and one of the best I've ever seen. Oh yeah, and a massive projector that comes down over everything if you just want an insanely 100+ inch display, because why not, right? So like I said in the beginning, instead of having all the specs down below because it's just too long, I will have the link to each episode under their name so you could check that episode out for more detail and more of the gear about that setup. So EPSY from 117, definitely one of the best setups of 2018 and probably continuing that even into 2019 and further. Next from episode 118 is Mark from SILENCEDTECH. We've had him on as a special guest before, and his setup still, even though he is a YouTuber himself, is just one of the best from the year, there's no doubt. So checking out his gear, those 3 displays with an Acer XB270HU, so a nice 27-inch monitor, with that overhead being the Asus PG34-8Q. He can use the bottom 3 for gaming all at once and then have that top overhead just for, you know, Twitter, Spotify, anything like that. But since they're all attached to their own individual monitor arms, he can actually pull that down and use that bigger monitor with a, you know, higher refresh rate, higher resolution as his primary monitor. And this is executed perfectly because there's enough clearance there where he can pull it down and it's not going to just smash into the monitor behind it. It's not going to damage it at all. It goes down right in front of it at eye level for him. And this is really, really cool. It's actually something that I planned to do a few years ago when I moved in with my monitor setup, but I just couldn't pull it off. So big props to you for doing it. And then above that, for some extra RGB glow, got the Nanoleaf Aurora light panels in the room. Just a simple pack of them, nothing crazy where they're not filling the entire room. So it's a nice little subtle touch, I think. Well, not really subtle, but you get the idea. And they're going to go along with those RGB mood lamps. For his peripherals, he has the Corsair Gaming K95 Platinum RGB keyboard, along with the Logitech G900 Chaos Spectrum mouse, with the Corsair Void Pro gaming headset, as well as the SteelSeries Quick extra large gaming mousepad with the Sound Blaster X Katana soundbar. Into the PC, he's using the Corsair White 570X crystal case, and inside is an Intel i7 8700K CPU with the Corsair Hydro H150i AIO. 32 gigs of Corsair Vengeance RGB RAM on the MSI Z370 Godlike motherboard and an MSI Trio 1080 Ti graphics card. Also in SLI, so obviously these are crazy builds with a ton of RGB lighting and stuff. You have the RGB light shift from the Commander Pro as well as the Corsair RGB fans, making for a really nice and powerful PC. So again, SILENCEDTECH coming in from episode 118. Definitely a beastly setup all together here. Love the monitor orientation. Love the overhead being able to come down and act as the primary monitor, which is altogether just going to make for an insane gaming setup. Switching gears to a more simplistic setup from Evan. This is from episode 120, and I just dig how chill the room is. It's very nice and clean. All white pretty much with some accents of the RGB lighting and nanoleaf panels and the wallpaper and stuff like that. These don't all have to have 3 to 4 monitors. So for his primary display, it is the Acer Predator X34A monitor. And then for his peripherals, he also has the Corsair Gaming K95 Platinum RGB keyboard with the Logitech G900 Chaos Spectrum mouse, which is the same duo as the last submission we just had on the Corsair MM300 mousepad. Got some little succulents and stuff off to the left side of there, just to give it some extra, color and pop on the desktop. And then for audio, he has 2 headphones of choice, Sennheiser PXC 550 and the SteelSeries Siberia 840 headset. Then under his desk is where he keeps his PC, which is unfortunate, but again, it's gonna make it more uniform if it's not standing out, which is why it has a more simple look. This is the Phanteks Enthoo Evolve case, and inside is an Intel i7 7700K CPU with the NZXT Kraken X62 AIO. 16 gigs of Corsair Vengeance LPX RAM on the Asus Strix Z270F motherboard with an Asus Strix GTX 1080 graphics card, and obviously inside with some braided cables going for a black and white look. Then as you saw in the beginning, next to his setup was his entertainment center also. This is a nice Samsung 49-inch curved TV. Really digging the simplicity here with the white entertainment center and stuff. And here you can kick back and chill and play some things like the Switch. You just get some console gaming and stuff down on the side. But for a bedroom gaming setup, this is just looking great. Like I said before, not all these have to have 4 to 5 monitors and stuff. One simple, gaming setup over there, entertainment center right off to the side, some nanoleafs to give it some extra pop and color, and at the end of the day, you come home, you chill in bed, you play some games, you watch some movies, you got both choices here. Really loving this bedroom gaming setup. From episode 122 came JULES, and this one is just definitely my sort of aesthetic here. It's modern, but at the same time, it kind of has that industrial look. I don't know, tough to explain, but still one of my favorites from 2018. So checking it out, for those monitors, one is a 24-inch Samsung display, and the other one off to the side is an Acer 24-inch display. So it has the primary in front of him with some more secondary stuff you can use on that left monitor. And man, do I love the finish on this wooden desktop. That's what really makes this whole thing stand out. And you got that little tripod desk lamp, little terrarium thing going on as well. All good stuff. Anyways, getting sidetracked into the peripherals, he has the Razer Black Widow keyboard, a nice OG edition here. Yes, that means no chroma lighting, with the SteelSeries Rival 300 mouse. For his audio, you can see his speaker setup, the Bose Companion 3 Series 2 speakers. Underneath his desk is his headset, the HyperX Cloud. White and black color variant, again, to fit in with his entire setup's color theme. Checking out the PC over to the right side of his desk, this case is the Phanteks P400 STG. Inside is an Intel i7 8700K CPU with the Corsair H100i AIO. Got 16 gigs of Crucial Ballistics Sport RAM with the MSI Z370 PC Pro motherboard and an MSI GTX 970 graphics card. So I'm really digging this space overall. It's not a bedroom, kind of like an office space with that L-shaped desk right by the window. You see there's a little workstation there maybe for a laptop, get some work done over there. Really just peaceful. The wooden desk here combined with, the tripod lamp, the all-white drawers and stuff, it just gives it a really clean look to the room overall, and that's why I love it. It's warm, it's calming, it's chill. A great setup here. Lots of good inspiration and ideas here from JULES. Then also from the same episode 122 comes Kai J. He was on a few times. And what I really like about what he does with his setup is he adds that custom border around his wallpaper with the color gradient to go along with this entire setup. So really great stuff. But checking it out, his primary display here is an Alienware 34-inch monitor with those 2 vertical ones on each side being the 23-inch monitor from Dell, the S2316M. Just really digging the custom wallpaper setup he's got going on to complement the 3 displays. Into the peripherals, he has a Corsair Strafe RGB keyboard with some of the Corsair white PBT double shot keycaps on them. Got the Corsair Dark Core mouse with a JBL Labs amp and DAC in the back, which is going to be controlling the Sennheiser HD598 headphones. Got some plants to complement the white and the greens, and of course an Xbox One controller for like a secondary peripheral. Over to the PC, yet again we have a Fantex P400S case in white, and inside here is an Intel i7 7700K CPU with the N60 Kraken X62 AIO, 16 gigs of the G.Skill Trident Z RGB RAM on an MSI M5 gaming motherboard with an EVGA GTX 1080 Ti SC Black GPU. So no doubt a great setup from Kai J, and it's the originality and the creativity like I showed before with having those custom wallpapers to complement his entire setup really, with the gradient, the border, it all makes it stand out. It makes the wallpapers and the monitors pop a little bit more. You back that up with the RGB light strip behind the desk and behind the monitor as well. It all blends nicely and it is a great idea. From episode 123 is Colin. And I think what I loved about this was his custom desk, as you'll see in a minute, and the way he does have the wallpapers all spanned properly, gonna fit in with kind of his custom desk. So taking a closer look at those displays, his primary is an LG 34 UM95, with the two on each side being a ViewSonic VA2259 model, with a 4K 55-inch TV from Insignia being that overhead. And now you can take a closer look at that desk. It is a beautiful slab of wood with resin kind of, sealing it all together with an RGB strip in the middle, so it has this nice subtle glow. And I think it complements these keycaps that I got perfectly. If you saw my custom keyboard video from the summer, you'll know what I'm talking about. But that just fits into that whole theme he has going on, even down to his wooden PC wrap. I love the way he has this desk. It is gorgeous, and I think the subtle RGB lighting with the resin that kind of diffused it a bit was a really, really nice creation. For its peripherals, he has the Corsair Strafe RGB keyboard with the Logitech G502 mouse on a glorious extended mousepad. In the back, you can spot one of those Pokeball crystals. I love these, nice little addition to the desk as well. And he also has a custom-made terrarium off to the side. Again, it's all fitting into that theme, and it's all looking really cool. And then for audio, his headphones of choice, the Audio-Technica M50X, also has a wrap on those, probably from Dbrand. And then a quick glimpse under that desk. This is a superb cable management job. Not a single cable in sight hanging down, making the floor spotless. That is insane. For the PC, we have the NZXT S340 case. Inside's an Intel i7 6700K CPU with the NZXT Kraken X62 AIO, 16 gigs of Corsair Vengeance LPX RAM on the Asus Z170 Pro gaming motherboard, and an Asus GTX 1070 Strix graphics card. So for me, it was love at first sight. Colin, I love your setup. It's all gorgeous. It's beautiful. The desk is amazing, and I want it. Then from episode 125 is Sound Banana with possibly one of the most simplistic setups I have ever seen. Extremely modern at the same time, and I love every single thing about this, but the simplicity is 100% key here. For the primary display is a 24-inch Dell monitor. It's 2560 by 1440p with 165 Hz refresh rate, so it is a gaming panel, but guess what? He only needs one, and I love that. Checking it out, on each side of his monitor are his studio monitors, the Yamaha HS7, but for the peripherals, he has a Cooler Master Storm Quickfire TKL keyboard with the Logitech MX Master mouse, tiny little mouse pad there, and he's got his laptop there, which if he wants, he could just hook up to his monitor and make it kind of like a mobile workstation. For audio, his headphones are the AKG Q701, but he has it in the special like lime green edition, which is going to really nicely complement the greens he has in his setup from those plants, as well as his desktop wallpaper. And then tucked away is his PC. We only have one speck of info about this, which is the CPU, the i7 3770K. That's all we have. That's all, folks. But guess what? I don't care if there was a turd inside that PC, because it wouldn't make me love this setup any less. It's minimal. Love the greens, the wooden desktop, right by the window as well for all that natural lighting. This, in my eyes, is just as good as those first two setups we showed off in the beginning. Taking a leap up 10 episodes to 135 is Haka69 with 3 monitors, but in a definite unorthodox monitor orientation here. Got a wall full of the soundproofing foam, RGB light strips on each side of the desk to give it some color and contrast. with tons of drawer storage. His primary display is the Acer Predator X34, which is like one of the most popular gaming monitor choices, with the two vertical ones being 27-inch displays from ViewSonic. But as you just saw with the RGB lighting, I like how he can just easily quickly switch it up from really any color he wants, from it being all black and blue to now being all black and red. And that's all in part to his RGB peripherals as well, which can help him match everything to that certain theme. He has the Razer Black Widow Tournament Edition keyboard with the Razer Orb Weaver Chroma gamepad, the Razer Death Adder Elite mouse, and the Razer Firefly mousepad. That is all Razer gear. His headphones or headset is not listed, but I assume that would also be from Razer as well. Then off to the side is his sexy PC. This is one of the most colorful I think I've ever seen. Inside is an Intel i7 8700K CPU that's cooled by his custom water cooling job. It looks like it is a soft tube, but still nonetheless, it is looking pretty damn nice. Got 32 gigs of G.Skill Trident Z RGB RAM on the Asus ROG Maximus 10 motherboard with the Asus GTX 1080 Ti Strix graphics cards. And everything inside is also RGB lighting from the RGB light strips. All the fans are the Thermaltake Ring RGB fans as well, so you can all match those up. But yeah, that is a definite colorful PC. So Haka, I see you, man. I see what you're putting down. The monitor orientation, like I said before, isn't really, what you typically see, definitely unorthodox. That doesn't mean I don't like it. You could use those for coding, whatever you possibly do. I don't know your profession, but I assume that's something like that. That would be a benefit to it, obviously. But it is a killer setup, and even with all the RGB lighting off, where it's just like a black and white room, it still looks pretty badass. I'm just really wondering what is in those drawers. So much storage. Next up from episode 143 is GKK, and it's got its own charm to it. I love the white and blue theme going on. The prints above the setup on the wall are very minimalistic as well. Kind of like a geometric space with that sort of like 8-bit wallpaper. It's just really cool. This is some good stuff. So his single monitor is the BenQ SW2700PT, so a 27-inch BenQ monitor. As for the peripherals, his keyboard is the Tina 60% with a custom white and kind of cyan keycap set with the Razer Death Adder Elite mouse. For his audio games, he has the FiO X5 Mark III player with the Cypher Labs Piccolo DAC and the Campfire Audio Andromeda. This is some serious stuff here. Probably don't know what this is, but it's the good. And additionally, the SteelSeries Arctis 5 headset in white with the Fostex PMO 3-watt speakers, also in white to complement his color theme. Heading on over to the PC, this is the NCXT H200i case, but it is heavily customized, you can see with the front panel there, so I love seeing custom stuff like that. Inside here is an Intel i5 7600K CPU with the Corsair H60 AIO, 16 gigs of Corsair Dominator Platinum RAM on the Asus ROG Strix Z270i motherboard with the GTX 1080 Ti Founders Edition graphics card here, completing a very clean looking build. But inside he also has the NZXT Hue Plus for some of that extra lighting if he wants to, turn that all blue, because with the white and black interior, it'll give it some extra color. So a great simple setup from GKK. Love the color theme he's got going on with the light strip behind the desk, matching the wallpaper, matching the colors inside the PC, his keycap set, even down to the drapes. 100% yes. And then last, but obviously not least, is gonna be Benjamin from episode 148 with the complete gaming room here. The crazy setup, the wall-mounted PC, tons of figures, collectibles, all that stuff, pretty much everywhere you look. And when you think of a gaming room, this should probably come to mind because just damn. Alright, so checking it out, for his desk setup, he has 3 of these Samsung 4K 24-inch monitors all lined up nicely and mounted beautifully. All 3 of the monitors have a different Star Wars wallpaper, so props for changing that up and not just having one span across all 3. Can definitely appreciate that. Then taking a closer look at his gear, his keyboard is the Razer Huntsman Elite, going along with the Razer Mamba mouse and the Razer Orb Weaver Chroma gamepad with the Razer Firefly mouse mat and the Razer Chroma base station. Lots of Razer again. Also some things, there's like the Amazon Echo Spot there, which is that circular clock. That one thing glowing is the charger for his wireless mouse. green, Razer, you name it. And then going along with his Razer base station, which is the headset stand, is the Razer Man of War headset. Then also for audio on his desktop is the Logitech Z906 5.1 speaker setup. Hot damn. And then, of course, just a wall-mounted PC, nothing to see here. This is crazy. Inside's a Ryzen 7 1700X. Got 32 gigs of G-Skill Trident Z RGB RAM on a Gigabyte X370 Gaming K7 motherboard with a Gigabyte GTX 1080 Ti Aorus Extreme graphics card. This is all inside the Thermaltake Core P5 case. Love the hardline job, the lime green look to it with it glowing nicely, the RGB fans, the green light strip coinciding with it behind the desk as well. Really just complements the setup to a T. Like, this is a great setup. Need to take a breath now. Wow. So yeah, tons of collectibles, figures. It is just a crazy great gaming room. It's always nice when someone has a great desk setup, but it's just something special when the entire room embodies that whole spirit. Whether it's showing off like a certain hobby or Star Wars stuff here, just something to make it more, personal, more unique is what really elevates some of these setups, and this one just nails it all to a T. Alright guys, that'll wrap it up for episode 158 of Room Tour Project, the best of the best edition from all of 2018. Hope you enjoyed, and I wanted to take this time to thank you guys. Your support over the last year has been so great. The channel has grown so much. We are nearly at 1 million subscribers, which is just mind-blowing to me. Never ever thought we'd make it to this point, so I really wanted to thank you all. I hope you had a great 2018, and I hope your 2019 is even better. Just again, thank you for your continued support, and I hope to make better content and better videos for you guys as we roll into the new year. So just thank you all so much. If you like this episode, give it a thumbs up to show your support. Feel free to follow me on Twitter at randomfrankp, and lastly, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. Well guys, hope you all have a fantastic new year.